Welcome to the Prepperverse. I'm Doc JMO. This afternoon, we are going to pick up our discussion on the 7 essentials that you must have in your bug out bag. We have done water, we have done fire, we did shelter. Today, we're going to do food. And we're just going to talk about a couple things that you can have. I mean, food's more of a personal thing. What do you like to eat versus what can you eat regarding your, if you have a physical condition or not, or if you're, lactose intolerant and you don't want to be carrying like dehydrated milk, or if you're gluten intolerant, it just, So it's more of a personal issue. So the guidelines or the recommendations I'm going to make are just that. They're just recommendations. You tailor them to suit you. So the first thing, what I do, I'm just going to kind of discuss a few of the ideas that I do. Number one is make sure that all your food that you put in your bug out bag is stable. I mean, because think about it, you're going to put it in your bag, and where's that bag going to go? It's going to go in a corner, it's going to go in a closet, it's going to go up in the, somewhere you can get it really quick, not in your attic, unless you have easy access to it, but that food's going to go in the bag and it's going to stay in the bag, so it's going to have shelf life to it. You're not going to want to put anything that's going to degrade like within a couple days, something that's fresh. Of course, that's common sense. So, though I will tell a story about that in a minute. So you want shelf-stable stuff. Now, remember, your bug-out bag is designed to get you to point A to point B, usually 72 hours. You can definitely customize your pack to what your specific criteria is and your circumstance. So if it's more than that, then of course you're going to have to carry a little bit more. But anyway, let's get back to that. Packaged foods. I like these things. If I'm just going to spend a few days, 4 days, living out of my pack, these seem to work real well because they're already seasoned. They're portioned out. I think this is a Backpacker Pantry. That's very good. It's one I personally like. There's another one, Mountain House. I'm sure that's good. I didn't care for it too much. I think this tastes a little bit better than the other one. So if I had two of them, if I had a Mountain House and I had this Backpacker Pantry brand, I would go for this one every time. I've just eaten so much of both of them, and they seem to be really consistent, really good. Plus, it's 2 servings. I have been on campouts, 4-day campouts, 5-day campouts, and I would eat a half in the morning, and then another half at lunch or in the evening. When you're done, you can just eat right out of this. You just have your long spoon, and you can just eat right out of it, then fold over the edge and just stick it back in your pack. Hopefully you're not around any place that has bears. You can smell it. So make sure that the proper protocol about eating out of your pack if you're going across some wilderness, with raccoons and possums, digging through your pack where you're open food. So anyway, so these are really, really good. There's other options. There's other brands. I have not tried them all. I have done, though, pre-packaged, air-sealed, some like cooked rice and spaghetti and sauce. You dehydrate them, and then you just hydrate them, cook them over, your fire, your pot, and that's worked out real well, too. So I know, because these things are... they're not cheap. This one here is like $12 at our local, local outdoor place. But it's already sealed, or you could do it at home for much cheaper, and that is an option as well. Let's see. There are, after you want to have a backup, okay? So say you lose your food or you eat all your food and you're still not to point B, what are you gonna do? You know, hopefully somebody maybe had carried some extra, maybe not. However, what I do, and I got this off some other seasoned preppers, is they carry a way to procure food. They carry some snares, some fishing line and hooks that make their own little kits, or some traps, or hopefully they can trap something. So that's another option, and I do carry those options in my bob. So you're kind of covering your basis. So that's another thing for you to consider, and you can just make up a little kit for those, and that's very advantageous. Now, going back to what I said about, kind of when you put your food in your bag, make sure that it's stable, make sure it can stay in your bag for months and months and months, years maybe. Because we did have one gentleman, excuse me, this was on a National Bob campout. I can't remember which one it was, but we had this gentleman that went by the name of Cowboy. So it was probably on the first morning after the first night with there we hiked in and set up camp, and then the next morning we're sitting around the fire and just kind of eating out of our little packages or whatever we have of this shelf steady stable food, and he comes strolling up with his little kit. He's got the fire going, and he starts breaking out some eggs. And he starts cracking the eggs and cooking them right there in the pan. Then he pulls out some chicken that he had sliced up. There was in a plastic bag. He had chicken sliced up, and he had like Cajun seasoning on it or what have you. And he threw that in with the eggs, and he's kind of swirling around the eggs and adding some tomatoes and some peppers. Meanwhile, everybody else is sitting around or coming up to the fire because they start smelling like, what's going on? They're like, Cowboy, what are you doing? He said, I'm making some breakfast. I'm making me some breakfast burritos. And it's lucky he's still around today, because these guys were going to kill him. And we quickly made up this rule called the Cowboy Rule. You don't come to a National Bob campout and have that fresh food. The whole purpose of the exercise is to learn to live out of your bob the way that you have it packed and stored away for months at a time, years at a time. Now, it is recommended that you go through, if it's sitting for months and months and months, you're going to want to field it. Go out there and take, just live out of it for a day or two. Take it camping, and make sure everything still works. You change your batteries, change the water, in those items, and make sure that your water purifier is clean. Open it up and inspect it. Make sure it's not moldy. Make sure that you prepared to store it the proper way, because that did happen as well to a friend. He came out to a Bob campout, and he had a water filter. He hadn't used it in over a year. And we went down to the creek to go get some water, filter out some water, and he pulled his out. And the next thing I know, he's asking me if he could use mine. And I say, yeah, what's up? And he goes, my filter is all moldy and slimy on the inside. I can't use it. Because he never dried it out and cleaned it. Because you know that after you use your water purifier, when you get home, you want to dismantle it, clean it out. You want to flush it with some bleach water, some chlorine, kill everything that might be living in there. Then you set it out and let it dry. And then you can, once it's all dry, then you can reassemble it, pack it up, and throw it back in your pack. Because if this was a real life event and he was on his own, guess what? As far as procuring more water, he's in a little bit of a fix. So these are some things you want to consider. So take your bag out, learn, live out it, see if there's another or a better way, or find something better that you can improve on. Always look to improve your bag and lighten it up or what have you. So anyway, it's a lot of fun to do. You can make it a family event. You can take your wife, your kids, or your significant other out, have fun, and do it all different types of weather. Because you want to do it when it's cold, so you know what it's like. So you can, you do it, then you come home and you say, I did it, so I know what it's like. Do it in the rain, so you know what it's like. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. It's just get out there, get that experience, and get your body acclimated to your environment. Because we live in these controlled environments, and if we don't get out every now and then to reconnect with nature, it's much easier to do it ahead of time, and it's a lot of fun. It just you just get out there in the woods, you smell the fresh air, and you're just rejuvenated by nature. Get realigned with yourself and the creation. So that is food. Another thing, I wanted to mention snacks along with those foods. You get candy bars, they work well. I always kind of like air seal my snacks in different packages. It just helps prolong the life of them, because when they're exposed to oxygen, it could leak through. It degrades, it oxidizes. So, but I do go through my Bob and check on it every now and then. But Gorp, good old raisin and peanuts, is a tremendous thing. Now this is a big bag. I would not carry a bag like this. This is heavy, because Gorp is it is heavy, unless you plan on eating a lot of it. I do, however, confess that I do carry more when I go on these winter exercises. I tend to eat a lot more of this stuff, especially before I go to bed. Because if you think about it, your body's a furnace. And when it's cold outside and you're sleeping outside and you're bundled up under your tarp or in your tent and you're insulated from the ground, you can still get cold. And what I do is I always have extra snacks up by my head. So when I start getting cold inside my sleeping bag, I just grab some food and I just start eating. I mean, you could use beef jerky, like the Gorp I said. You could get cookies, you could do a Snickers bar, something you're going to put in, it's going to stoke the fires up. And believe me, after a couple handfuls of Gorp or half a Snickers bar or a thing of beef jerky, you could chew on while you're in your sleeping bag, you'll feel your body will start pumping up. It'll start stoke up those fires, and you'll get nice and warm. And the neat thing is, you just keep it by your head, because in a few hours, when the fire in your body starts going down a little bit, you just eat some more, and you just warm up, and you get some really good sleep. So that's a tip for you. It works. I do it every time. So that is about all I have for the topic on food. There's a lot more out there. Just a short little presentation, some ideas to throw out there. There's many different options. Look around, try different stuff. Just try, see what works for you. And but hey, let me know what you guys do. If you guys have some neat things that work for you, please put it down in the comments. Let me know what works. I'm always interested in trying out different things and throwing things out there. And by the way, help support this channel. If you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button, give it the thumbs up if you find it of any value. Share it. What do they say? I guess I feel like a real YouTuber now. Subscribe, like, and share. We appreciate it. Hey, we'll talk to you later. And summer's coming up. Get out there, get some practice.